Welcome back. In this video, we're going to implement our last function of this course. It's going to be the isDate function. And it's not that different as the previous one we implemented, but the main element here is we're going to deal with the class, how you can check that something was created based on a class. Okay, so let's go ahead and implement that. We have two sets of tests. The first one should return true when past a date and should return false otherwise. Okay, so let's go ahead and check that our tests are running. So we're just gonna run pnpm test and watch that. Maybe we have it running already here, pnpm test, and we're going to put it on watch mode and then select isDate from it, and we can see that the tests are failing. We're gonna go into our isDate, export that as a function, isDate. Here, we're going to receive a value that we basically set unknown, and we're going to make sure that it's a Boolean, okay? So the trick here indeed is to know that if you pass something here, how do you know that it is a date? So let's look at it a little bit closer. There is a class called user. So if I create an instance const user equal new user, what I just did there, I created an instance. So user here is an instance of the user class. Okay, so it's the same with date. If you have a date here, you can say, hey, that's a date, and say, oh, date here, and that thing is actually an instance of that. Okay, so so the way you check that is simply to say that date is instance of date. So if you do that well, you could actually quickly check that something is an instance of something else, right? So if here instead of this, I will go with, let's say, we're going to try, we put a question mark here, and we're going to replace this with human, and then move that here. You see right away that it's saying it's false on this line, and if we use human there, it says true, right? So that's basically the way we're gonna check that, just by saying if the value that we receive is an instance of date, right? So date is basically a class implemented within JavaScript. We can just return true here, otherwise we return false. Okay, so as you know by now, that implementation here is not really the way you will do it, because you can turn that literally in one line by removing this. Okay, so that will be our implementation right here. So I would like to add something quickly here so that you understand that it's not just about having it as a date. I already did that in one of the previous videos where I explained how you can leverage these functions to write really safe, beautiful code in TypeScript. So we're gonna have again a check function that takes a value that is just unknown, okay? And then we're just going to say if isDate, and we pass that value. We want to do something with that date over here, right? Do this, and then you want to do something interesting with it. However, as you can see here, when I said value dot, nothing is really happening, okay? Because TypeScript doesn't know what you're having there. It's basically saying, oh, that thing is unknown, so I don't know what to do right here. Now, if you say that this thing is as, let's say, a date this way, you could then start putting a dot here, and then you have access to all the functions that are available within the date class. But this is not really efficient. That's really not the way you should be writing it. So the way you will make it happen is to go all the way here and say, if you return true, if that function return true, then value is a date, right? So by making it available there, you don't have to do it locally over there. And now if I go value, I can then do dot and I have access to all the function available in the date class, on the date class, right? So that's basically the little tip here for you. And hopefully that allows you to understand how you can leverage this concept to build really powerful TypeScript code. And that will be it for this one. And in the next video, we're going to do a bit of refactor of the entire set of functions. And that will be the bonus for this course. I'll see you there. Cheers.